There's a moment you don't notice while you're in it. The moment your mind stops being your own. It happens quietly, the way a candle goes out in a room full of people. No sound, no struggle, just darkness where your certainty used to be. And you tell yourself you're imagining it because it's terrifying to admit that love should never feel like losing your inner voice. You remember the beginning as light, warm, golden, comforting. You felt seen in a way that almost frightened you. Someone studied your heart closely, too closely, learning what softened you, what opened you, what made you stay. It felt like connection, like destiny, like being truly known. But slowly, the light changed. Soft glow became dim shadow, and you adjusted yourself to match it. You stopped trusting your instincts, not because they stopped guiding you, but because someone taught you to question every whisper of truth inside you. You began second-guessing your emotions, apologizing for your reactions, editing your needs until they were almost invisible. You convinced yourself that shrinking was graceful, that silence was strength, that losing pieces of yourself was what love required. No one warns you that the damage is quiet. It's not in the arguments, the storms, the obvious wounds. It's in the pauses, the empty spaces where affection used to live. You begin listening differently, not with your ears, but with your nerves. Every tone becomes a warning. Every silence becomes a question. Every shift in mood feels like a change in the weather you must brace for. Your mind becomes a radar, always scanning for signs of danger in places where love should have been simple. You don't rest. Even on calm days, your body stays alert, waiting for a wave that always seems to return. You start accepting crumbs as evidence of devotion. A single kind sentence feels like a feast. A rare moment of tenderness feels like proof that things are okay. You cling to these small mercies because you've learned to survive on emotional scraps. You forget what it feels like to be nourished. Then something inside you begins to fade. The color drains from your days. Your enthusiasm goes quiet, and your laughter becomes something you remember having, not something you feel. You sit in silence and wonder when your world became so muted, when the brightness disappeared, when you stopped recognizing yourself. But here's the truth no one says out loud. You didn't lose the color. You handed it away in tiny offerings, hoping someone would see the beauty in each piece. You kept giving, believing that one day they would learn to give back. And then, sometime after it ends, a realization arrives like a soft whisper. You were never difficult to love. You were only taught that love was difficult. This is the twist that rewrites everything. You begin to question the old beliefs, the ones that told you your sensitivity was a burden, your emotions were excessive, your needs were unreasonable. But what if none of that was true? What if your heart was simply too open for someone who never knew what to do with openness? You weren't chosen because you were easy to hurt. You were chosen because you were generous, because you saw potential where others saw flaws, because you forgave quickly, because you offered warmth even when it wasn't returned. You weren't blind, you were loyal. You weren't weak, you were hopeful. And hope in the wrong hands becomes a tool of survival instead of a source of connection. Leaving doesn't free you immediately. Your body exits long before your mind does. You carry echoes, flinching at kindness, distrusting calm, bracing for storms that never come. You apologize without knowing why. You expect anger where there is none. You wait for the other shoe to drop because you lived too long in a place where shoes always dropped. Peace feels unnerving at first. Joy feels suspicious. Safety feels undeserved. You're learning how to inhabit a world that doesn't punish your heart for beating the way it does. But slowly, beautifully slowly, something shifts. A small truth comes out of your mouth one day, and your voice doesn't shake. You say no without guilt. You rest without feeling like you must earn it. You take up space, just a little at first, and the walls don't close in. The world doesn't collapse. You begin to remember that you are allowed to exist without apologizing. Then you see it in the mirror, your face returning to you. Not the edited version you perform for someone else, but the authentic, tired, tender, honest version you nearly forgot. Your softness survived, your empathy survived, your capacity to love survived, but now it bends inward, toward you. Piece by piece, you reclaim what you abandoned, the dreams you paused, the needs you buried, the boundaries you feared, the self you misplaced in the shadows of someone else's approval. You begin choosing differently. People who feel like open windows, not locked doors. People whose presence doesn't demand self-erasure. People who let you breathe, not brace. People who understand love does not require dimming the other person's light. And finally, the truth settles in your chest with a calmness that feels like coming home. You were never too much. You were simply in a place that asked you to be less. You are not healing into someone new. You are returning to someone familiar, the version of you untouched by fear, unbroken by doubt, unapologetic in your fullness. This is the real end of the story. Not the escape, not the pain, not the silence afterward, but the moment you realize you didn't lose yourself. You were waiting for a safe enough place to come back to, and that place is you.